Another old school approach to web design that you don't see as much anymore is frames. When you use frames to create a site like this, you're essentially displaying multiple pages in one browser window. What you really see here is one page here, another page here, and a third page up here in the top frame. I won't spend much time on frames in this series because they're really not recommended for very much anymore. Indeed, frames like this are a little like pink flamingos. You know, those ones you see on the lawn in front of so many homes in South Florida? Some people love them. They think they're fun, retro, kind of kitsch. Other people just think they're a little tacky and outdated. So, not to pick on pink flamingos, which I actually think are kind of fun, but many people would definitely put frames in the tacky, outdated category, unless you have a really compelling reason, like you need to bring content from another site into your site, and even then, you want to make sure you have permission and that you're doing it very carefully. Frames have gotten a really bad rep because people consider them hard to navigate. It seems pretty intuitive to click on these images on the left and see things changing here on the right, but notice up here at the top of the screen. When I do that, the URL doesn't change. It's a little tricky to notice here because I'm looking at these pages locally. What you see here is the path to that page going all the way across this computer. So these are my project files, which you'll see in future lessons. We'll use the project files a lot. I've stored this site in here, and you see just the index page displayed. But if I click on this image, notice that that didn't change, even though the page changed. If I click on this image, again, that address doesn't change. Because of that, when you use frames in a website, it's almost impossible to link to pages within that site. And that's part of why people consider them less than ideal for designing. But I wanted to at least point out that this is a common approach to web design, or at least it has been in the past. And that Dreamweaver still does have a number of features for working with frames. So let me just take a quick moment and show you those because we won't explore them more later in this series. By the way, what I'm doing here is switching to a different website within Dreamweaver's file panel. We'll do this a lot throughout the series, and you'll see that you can load multiple sites into Dreamweaver and easily switch from one website to another. So now when I click on this index page, I can open this frame site. And just to give you a quick look, under the window menu, you'll find many different tools in Dreamweaver, including the Frames panel. Using this panel, you can easily identify and target different frames in a frame set. And notice as I switch from one to another, those frame properties change here in the property inspector at the bottom. Again, these are features we'll spend lots of time on in this series. The property inspector is a very important component in how Dreamweaver manages all kinds of content in this site. If you do need to create a new frame site, let me just show you under the New menu, you'll find a section called Page from Sample, and here you'll find a collection of pre-designed frame sets. So if you're working with frames or you really want to create a frame site, you certainly can still do it in Dreamweaver. But again, because it's not generally recommended for web design and not how most people create sites these days, we'll spend most of the time in this series working on sites designed with CSS instead.